PBKC is your entertainment destination for poker, table games, OTB, Paddock live events, and exceptional eats. The Paddock restaurant is perfect for meetings, corporate functions, parties, fundraising, and more. Call 561-683-2222 extension 199 and book your next event today. Feast in Football is back in the Paddock. Get ready for touchdowns and tasty bites every football Sunday during the regular season. Enjoy a $25 all-you-can-eat buffet plus one draft beer, or get it free when you place a $25 or more live bet on the Hard Rock Bet app at PBKC. Featuring 140 HD TVs, 3 giant screens, and a full bar. Bring your crew, place your bets, and pile your plate high. This is how Sundays were meant to be. Happy Thanksgiving Eve from all of us here at PBKC Picks. We are live broadcasting from the Palm Beach Kennel Club here in West Palm Beach, Florida. My name is Mike Jameson. To my right is Earnest Christian. We're missing the other guy. We'll talk about him later.
It's not really all of us.
Yeah, we'll talk about him later. We have the important guy on the phone. How you doing, Pat?
Man, this must be a skeleton crew, Mike.
It is.
It really is, dude.
It's silent up here right now. It's just it's kind of weird, but we're glad to have you on the show. We know we only have you for a short time today, Pat, so let's get right into the football talk. The Cowboys' Dak Prescott led a comeback win against the Eagles, coming back from a 21-point deficit. Hey, Pat, are the Eagles cooked?
No, I'm not going to say they're cooked, but that definitely – I wasn't bothered by losing to Denver or even losing to the Giants this year. But this time of year, Mike, you can't blow a 21-point lead to anybody, let alone a division opponent, that you're pretty much going to put them. That victory would have done two things. It would have won the division for the Eagles, and it pretty much would have put the nail in the coffin for the Cowboys. So that was really a twofold loss by the Eagles. It keeps Dallas in this thing, and it, as you mentioned, it starts to, I think, at least put some doubt in some people's heads. That's probably the most shocking loss of the year. I know Cleveland beating Green Bay, and we had some other games that were kind of surprising, but they were early in the year. This is the time of year, we've always talked about this on the show, where the good teams start separating themselves. And I'm not going to say that's going to end the Eagles or anything like that. But man, they gotta figure out what is going on with them, because that's an alarming loss. I think that's ties the biggest comeback in Dallas Cowboy history for a win. So you can't lose that game. You just can't. And as the defending champs, something's going on there, and they got to figure it out and figure it out soon.
Well, the loss is not shocking, because I remember saying to myself a couple weeks ago that looking at the schedule for the Eagles, that game could be a trap game, divisional game. They're always playing well, that kind of thing. It's still way concerning. And here's the thing: A.J. Brown had a great game, right? Didn't matter, still lost. So what's the priority here? Now, defeat A.J. Brown, make him happy, or to win games? I think I think the Eagles right now internally are at a crossroads now as to, okay, we need to prioritize winning over, making you happy. That's why I think this is last year with the team, honestly. But this game was more about the Cowboys than anything else. Mm-hmm. Bigger picture, the Eagles are going to win the division. They're probably going to be in the 1 or 2 seed. We'll see how the Rams look next couple weeks. But this is about the Cowboys at this point, and my bet's alive still too, also to get 9 wins. So I'm happy.
Yeah, Skyler, who's our Cowboys fan, he's checking in. He says Noah's still in hibernation, and Noah's not on the show today. He hasn't been sleeping at night. We're worried about Noah. He's talking to a therapist right now. This is always the picture. This is the picture that comes up in his head, in his dreams right here. That one right there. That's the picture that he can't get away from.
Noah texted us after the game.
Yeah. No, Pat, we have a picture up of Dak Prescott lassoing an eagle. So that's what we have up right now. This is what Noah can't get out of his head. It's great when you go to ChatGPT and put Dak Prescott with a cowboy hat on lassoing an eagle in a football stadium and see what you get.
Noah texted us after the game. Yeah. What do you say? Thanksgiving was canceled?
Yeah, he said there is nothing to be thankful for. So,
baby, you lose 3 games this year. Big deal. Come on. Yeah. I lost 10.
Yeah. You
Exactly.
can't take it that hard. It's a bad loss. Don't get me wrong, and not like what you're saying, Ernest. They could have lost this game. I'm not saying that, but when you're up 21-0, you got to win it at that point.
It's the way to lose, right?
But it's not the end of the season. Every team has these weird up and downs. Now, I'm just saying this time of year that shouldn't be happening. You should be correct. All the stuff going on, in the beginning of the year should be corrected by now. So that's the only part that alarms me. Now they play this week and they win. All's going to be good again. So it's just them get to the playoffs. Hopefully you get a couple home games, and then the Eagles should be still in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
So Ernest mentioned the Rams. The Rams defeated the Buccaneers 34-7 on Sunday Night Football, taking over the top seed in the NFC, and now Matt Stafford is in the MVP discussion. How are we feeling about the Rams, Pat?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're there. They've been there really pretty much all year, I think. They got really good receivers. Stafford's obviously playing at a much higher level than I thought he would be playing at this stage of his career, especially coming off some injuries and things. But that team's stacked. I mean, they've got a good defense. Obviously, I like the coach there. Play indoors, so the speed of the game suits them really well, and I think they can absolutely do some damage because. They don't win against the Eagles, but they're close. Mm-hmm. And at some point, they got to think they're going to knock that door down. So I think of all the teams, I said this in the beginning of the year, I thought the 49ers were going to be the main team to possibly derail the Eagles in the NFC. And now that team is probably the Rams.
Yeah, and home field matters here because remember last year in the divisional round, the Rams almost did beat the Eagles in Philly last week at the Link. But what happened was that the weather played a factor in that game. So obviously now having home field advantage now, right now they're number one seed in the NFC in the playoffs start today. So this is a huge win for them, and they continue doing this. The number one seed going to the playoffs. So home field is going to matter for this team. As for Stafford, all year long we're talking about MVP, and there's been a lot of positioning in terms of like throw this guy in the conversation, Baker Mayfield. I think right now, week 13. It's now a two-man race between Matthew Stafford and Jonathan Taylor in Indy. So the Rams are playing good football right now, and they are scary. And to me, they're the only team in that conference right now capable of beating Philly right now.
Yeah, I think they're a well-rounded team, and they're coming together right in time for the playoffs, too. The Chiefs secured a crucial 23-20 comeback victory over the Colts, keeping their playoff hopes alive. I was really shocked to see them come back the way they did in a must-win situation. Do we feel like the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs right now, Pat?
I still think they got a real tough road to hoe. They're in a tough division, and I think they got the fourth hardest schedule in the NFL. They got to play at Dallas this week, and Dallas should be on a high, especially playing at home on Thanksgiving. So I'm not quite ready to say they're back in it yet. They did keep their season alive, though, because I think if they would have lost that game, they really would have been in trouble. But I almost think it says as much about the Colts. And, I think I said it a few weeks ago when they were 8-1. I'm like, would it really shock everybody if they kind of went, 1-7 the last game? Because they've got a tough schedule, number one. They haven't been there before, at least with this quarterback. And Daniel Jones seems to be reverting back to, the Daniel Jones of old. And that ain't good for the Colts. So I'd be more worried if I'm a Colts fan in a weird way, even though they have a much better record than the Chiefs at this point. I think the Chiefs – They just got to keep playing. That they can do it, but this schedule is really tough. They got a tough schedule the last 6-7 games, and I don't think they can lose many more than 2 more games. So that's going to be the question for the Chiefs.
Well, the schedule is kind of a mishmash because you do have like a little bit of cakes there. You have Titans and Raiders in that schedule too. But yes, you have Dallas this week. Then you got the Texans, whose defense is number 1 in the league right now. Granted, that's a home game. Then the Chargers again at home as well too, and then the Broncos at home. So a lot of those tough games are going to be tough, but they're at home, so that doesn't help them. This game, to me, is about the Chiefs, though. Like, look, the Colts, they should have closed it out. They're up 11 points, fourth quarter. We get all that. But this is a team that's desperate. KC's desperate. So I'm not surprised this happened. I'm surprised they didn't win a little more going away. So I'm not as down to Indy as I thought I would be after this week, honestly. I think KC is just fighting to get in there. I think the magic number should be like 10 wins this year in the AFC. They're at 6 right now, so you need at least 4 games. Here's the problem: they're behind a lot of tiebreakers too. Also, a lot of teams are in that conversation for the wild card. Lost to Jaguars already as one. That's one record they're behind on. So that's they got to win some games. And this Dallas game is huge. Like Thanksgiving this year is really All 3 games are going to be really big, so I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving.
Very competitive Thanksgiving. It's nice to see that for the first time in years.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Chiefs beat the Colts. The Lions narrowly defeated the Giants in overtime.
Nice reminder.
Powered by a huge game from Jahmyr Gibbs, over 200 scrimmage yards. The Giants were so upset they fired defensive coordinator Shane Bowen. How did we feel about that big comeback? When I was watching the scores early in the day on Sunday, I'm like, there's no way the Giants are going to beat the Lions. How did we feel about that, Pat?
Well, again, I keep touting my own horn this whole show. My hot take number 1 last week was Chiefs and Lions don't make the playoffs. I just don't know if the Lions, like I think I've said this several times, like they seem to really build everything for last year, and then they had all those injuries on defense, and that really prevented them from taking that next step. But it just seemed like they expended so much energy last year, and then Washington comes in and smokes them in the playoffs, and that's just tough to overcome. Now, they still have a ton of talent, and I do like Dan Campbell, but that game was close. They absolutely should have lost that game several times, so that's the mark of a good team to come back and win it. But again, the Giants are terrible, so that's and it's at home, so that shouldn't even have been a game for them. That's not a good sign that the Giants are taking you to the mat in a game you had to have. So we'll see. I mean, good teams have bad games and they still win them. That's what a good team does. But man, Detroit's got to start turning it up here these last few games, or I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. So we'll see.
But Pat, they're the greatest 2-10 team in the history of the league. Come on, what are you doing? I mean, here's the thing: they've lost 5 games this year with double-digit leads. Most of them in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
like Detroit game, they're up 10 points in the fourth quarter. So look, Detroit. I knew there'd be a regression to the mean this year for this team. I didn't think it'd be this bad. And the NFC play picture is really messy right now. I do think they'll find a way to get in, though. But, man, they are clearly, we viewed the Lions coming to the year as probably the number 2 team, maybe number 3 team in the conference. That ain't the case right now. I think right now, if you through 13 weeks, like your 3 best teams in the conference right now, obviously it's going to be the Rams right now, the Eagles, and I right now I put the Seahawks over right now. So the Lions, there's a lot of problems there. Jahmyr Gibbs, they locked in with him having a huge game.
Monster game, yeah.
Because if they lose that game, man, I mean, there's a lot of doubt sleeping in there. And then you have that Green Bay game come on Thursday. Again, another huge Thanksgiving game coming up. So, yeah, that was a big win for them. But the Giants, look, I am
frisky.
They are frisky though. They are. I am not pro tanking, but they can use another draft pick. Okay.
Yeah.
At least they're entertaining me. For the last couple of years, when the Giants were 2-10, in the last couple of years, I check out. I'm actually watching them. James Winston's fun to watch.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm actually having a good time watching the Giants, even though they're losing. So
yeah. Shout out to Jameis. That flea flicker touchdown he had.
Hey, listen,
that
he's a baller, dude. That kid's a baller. I know it's don't make fun of him all the time, the crab legs thing.
He's amazing.
But that dude's a baller, man. He comes to play every week, and the players love him. They love it.
They do. So on Thursday night, Josh Allen got sacked 8 times as the Bills lost to the Texans. Pat, is this show every other team in the NFL how to beat the Bills?
Well, I mean, I just think the Bills, similar to Detroit, I think they loaded up last year to try to win it all, and it didn't happen. And when you do that, I think it's just tough to come back again the next year and be like, all right, we're going to do this different, or we're going to do that different, or we're going to add this person or whatever. I think the Bills have actually regressed a little bit on offense. It's pretty much Josh Allen or bust. I know Cook's a decent running back, but the receivers aren't what they were in the past for Buffalo. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's if you can get to Josh Allen, and a lot of teams are figuring out like how to blitz him and those kind of things. Plus he's getting a little bit older. That he's like the head of the snake. So if you attack the head of the snake, then the rest of it goes by the wayside. So if I'm a Buffalo fan, I think I'm a little bit concerned now that
who's laughing now?
Yeah,
the same.
We'd like to welcome the Genius Champion Junior to the show.
Having said that, though, Pat has a good point here. I'm with you, Pat, on the window being closed, assuming both the Chiefs and the Ravens don't make the playoffs. Again, if those teams make the playoffs in January, this will be the most wide open AFC we've seen in generations. And I think because of that, Josh and how good Josh Allen is, you have to give him a hell of a shot to at least to get to the Super Bowl. So, but yeah, I think there's a lot of issues here. I think Sean McDermott, especially if they lose this week to
Steelers,
to the Steelers, hot seat.
Yep.
I'll say that.
So the Bears came through and won their fourth consecutive game, beating the Steelers 31-28. I'm going to ask this, feels like every week. Are the Bears the real deal, Pat?
I watched that game, and they were without three of their starting linebackers, and I think one or two of their D-backs. And right off the bat, of course, we throw a pick after we get 9 yards on the first play of the game, running the ball. And to me, it looked like we could have just kept running it the whole game. But we decided to throw a deep out at that point on 2nd and 1, and it gets intercepted, and then the Bears score. But after that, the Steelers marched down the field and scored, and actually got a scoop and score to go up 14-7. So I would say in most cases, a lot of Bears teams in the past would have probably folded at that point and just succumbed. But I give Ben Johnson a lot of credit. His play calling was excellent. I thought his adjustments after halftime when they were losing was excellent. The Steelers, as usual, did nothing. So Caleb Williams still scares me a little bit. There's still a little indecisiveness with him, but for the most part, he's vastly improved over the last couple of years playing. And I'm not ready to quite say that they're going to make the leap and be a Super Bowl team, but they're on the path. If that defense can get shored up a little bit, they do have really good special teams. And if Caleb can keep progressing the way he is, that team in a couple of years could be really dangerous. So I need to see a little bit more out of him to have some confidence to say, all right, he's made the step now to be an elite quarterback, but he's certainly getting there. And with the play calling that he has, that team can be dangerous.
The cardiac beers. They're fun to watch, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, and yes, Caleb Williams has been rehabbed a little bit. I mean, there's definitely a tale of two years so far. We're now seeing, why he was drafted number 1 overall in moments anyway. But here's the thing: I'm not there yet. Like they're a solid team. They're still frisky in the first place. But I am not there. In fact, I don't think they win the division still. I'm not there. I just think that there's a lot of not luck because opportunities and take advantage of opportunities, but they're not there yet for me. But they're fun to watch. Like I said, will they be a playoff team? That means we've seen. They'll see how the wild card looks like by the time we get to week 17. But I don't think they win the North still. I think there's still things that you got to work on. But I will say this much though: Ben Johnson has done a phenomenal job rehabbing Caleb Williams. He's done a phenomenal job calming him down. They're still chaotic. Yep. There's still chaos there in moments, but it feels like it's much more organized.
Yeah. So on Friday of last week, I'm sitting in my office, and one of our former general managers, Art Laughlin, walks by with his brother Jimmy, and he goes, "Hey man, the Raiders really stink." And I'm like, "You got that right, Art." I stopped picking them, and I said to him right there, he said, "You think the Browns are going to beat them this week?" I said, "Yes, I do, and I think the Raiders are going to make Shedeur Sanders look like a starting quarterback in the NFL." How did we feel about his debut, Pat? That's the first Browns rookie quarterback to win his first game since 1995.
Yeah, I think I said last week you can't really blame Shedeur for the game against the Ravens because they threw him in there. He had no protection. He had no chance to work with the first unit and play calling and all that stuff. And he was just getting blitzed out the wazoo. And you couldn't put John Elway back there and have a guy have success. So I wanted to see him now. Again, the Raiders aren't world beaters, so this would have been a much better test for Shedeur to see what he could do. Because the Raiders just aren't that good. But I do like what I saw, especially the one touchdown he had. He was scrambling, and he kind of threw it across his body, probably like 40, 50 yards, and threw a touchdown for it. And I was like, there aren't a ton of guys that can do that. Now, again, that's one throw in a sequence of a bunch of stuff that a quarterback has to be able to do to be successful. But that's a biggie. Like, if you got that kind of arm strength and you can give a guy time, then the decision-making process has to take place at that point as well, and get that clarified. But I'm not going to, again, say that he's the next, coming, Dan Marino or something like that for the Cleveland Browns. But I think you got to play him the rest of the year. That's the other thing that drove me nuts. Like, Stefanski wouldn't even say he was going to start after the game. Like, who are you going to – you're going to put Gabriel back in there, or just some unknown guy? Like, this guy, at least you should want to see what he can do over the last 6 or 7 games. Your season is over, so let's see what the kid can do. So I'm excited. If you're a Cleveland Brown fan, at least you get to see – you should – over the next 6 or 7 weeks what this kid can do, and then give him a full offseason to really get acclimated to that offense and then go from there.
I mean, I know Shador's a story of the game, man, but to me, it's Myles Garrett, man. Another 3 sacks. He has 18 this year so far. We got 6 games to go. He's going to break the record in this phase. He's going to crush the record at this point. I think was it 22 and a half is the actual record for Strahan?
I believe so.
Insane. On a bad team. Again, you put this Browns defense with any average team in the NFL, they're a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. But Shador, great performance. Obviously, you want to see more. It's the Raiders. Sorry, Mike.
It was the Raiders.
I mean, there's nothing else to be said about that. But the Browns defense is. I'm baffled how good they are, despite their record, obviously.
Yeah. So hey, Earnest, and I'm no fan of Myles Garrett.
I know you're not.
He should be in the MVP discussion. He really
without
should.
question. Without question.
Yeah, what a monster he's been. And Pat, before you get out of here, they announced the 26 semifinalists for the 2026 Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'll run down some of the big names. You got Drew Brees, Willie Anderson. You got Larry Fitzgerald, Frank Gore. You got Torrey Holt, Rodney Harrison, Luke Kuechly, Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, Steve Smith Sr., Terrell Suggs, Fred Taylor, Earl Thomas, Adam Vinatieri, Hines Ward, who's somebody I know you know very well, Reggie Wayne, Vince Wilfork, Jason Witten, Darren Woodson. Who do you think from this class, out of this 26, really deserves to go into the Hall of Fame?
Oh, God, man. I mean, you just all those names are like a blur in a way. I'm like, he's good. He's good. He's good.
Exactly.
I mean, Drew Brees is probably a lock. I mean, I'll give you my Hines Ward take. He didn't have like a zillion yards and he didn't have a zillion touchdowns, but that guy was absolutely the best blocking wide receiver I've ever seen, and it's not close.
Yep.
And I think that should count for something. Now, maybe it doesn't get you in the Hall of Fame, but it should get you pretty close to that. I mean, he was as clutch a player as you could have. If you needed a clutch over the middle catch and know you're going to get the guy's going to get creamed after he catches it, Hines Ward, I don't remember him ever dropping a ball because he got hit, or dropping a ball that's right in his hands and just drops it. And that seems to happen with almost all, even the elite guys now, where they drop balls or they get hit and they drop it or whatever. But there should be something. He was the MVP in the one Super Bowl against Seattle. There should be some category for a guy like that who's just a ball player. Like, he's a gamer. He does what you need to do to win games, and I don't know if you can put a price on that. So he would absolutely have my vote. I don't think he's going to get in, but I mean, you go through the first 4 or 5 names you named there. All those guys can get in. That's really a stacked class. That's going to be a tough one. Whoever gets in, they can say, "Look who I beat out this year to get in."
Yeah, that's huge.
That's almost saying something in and of itself.
Yeah. Go ahead. Pat, before you get out of here, let's pick the Thursday night, the Thursday games. Who do you like? Green Bay at Detroit. Detroit's
these are great games, by the way.
I cannot wait, brother.
Thanksgiving stinks.
I know.
Green Bay. Detroit's got to win this game. It's at home. They have to win this game. If they lose this game, I do think they're out of the playoffs. So I'm taking Detroit.
Kansas City at Dallas. Kansas City.
This is another great game. This is a great game because both of these teams have to have this game. I know it's not a divisional game or even a conference game, but man, the loser of this game is in trouble. I think Dallas, because of the momentum they had from the Eagles game, a short week at home, I'm going to take Dallas. But again, it wouldn't surprise me if Kansas City rises from the dead like they usually do and win this game, but I'm taking Dallas just based on last week.
Okay, Cincinnati at Baltimore. Yes, Burrow is supposed to play, and Baltimore's favored by 7.
If this game was in Cincinnati, I would actually take Cincinnati because of Burrow coming back, and they're going to get a little bump from him. Something is off with Lamar Jackson. Something is off with him. I don't know what it is. I mean, he's got knee, ankle, toe. He's got all kinds of leg issues, and that ain't good for a quarterback that's mobile as he is. I'm going to take Baltimore, but Cincinnati scares me in this spot because Burrow's coming back, and they know they got to run the table to have any chance. This should be a pretty good game.
Okay, Pat, well, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you and your family have a great day. And, of course, we're going to catch you next week on the show. Hope you have a great day and a great rest of your week, Pat. And tell the family we said hi.
You got it. Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving
Pat.
to you guys, and
Same to
I'll
you.
see you next week.
Thanks.
You got it.
See you, Pat.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. So, Ernest, yeah, we're going to go back and talk.
Hall of Fame?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame. Ernest, here is the list that we have right here. We got Willie Anderson. Willie Anderson was
Underrated.
a hell of a player. You got Drew Brees, Lomas Brown. He was an amazing offensive tackle. You got Jari Evans, Larry Fitz, Frank Gore, who played forever.
So you have like the first. So right now, the first ballot guy is Drew Brees. He'll get in definitely. That's a lock. So is Larry Fitz. Lock.
Yeah.
Get in. This is a stacked class, man.
It is.
So I'm an Eli Manning guy, obviously.
I know you are.
He's in the semis as well too. Also, looking at this class though, it might be tough for him to get this one too. Also, because there's a lot of guys who haven't got in the last couple of years that are due. Like Reggie Wayne's due to get in now. You look at Earl Thomas, another conversation there for him too. Jason Witten's another one that should get in.
Marshall Yanda was one of the best
Vince
ever.
Wilfork.
Yeah.
I mean,
Vince Wilfork, a champion. Yeah.
I think last year, if I'm not mistaken, was only 4 guys got in last year.
Yeah, something like that. It's like a short number.
I don't know the science of how they determine this stuff. I know if it's a percentage, a threshold, whatever it be, but I mean, I hope Eli gets in this year. But looking at this list, though, you may have to wait another year.
There's some amazing players when you got Drew Brees, who's a definite.
First ballot.
Fitz is a definite. Frank Gore deserves to be in at some point. I know Rodney Harrison's been up, so is Holt for a long time. I'm shocked that Luke Kuechly is not in.
What hurts him? He had a short career.
Yeah,
that's why.
He left early. Now he's obviously the defensive coordinator for a middle school team in Charlotte Christian.
He went with that last week, remember?
Yeah, exactly. Eli Manning, obviously, I think deserves to be in at some point. Robert Mathis, Phillip Rivers, to me is
he'll if he gets in, it'll be like. 6-7 ballot.
Exactly. Terrell Suggs, I think, deserves to be in.
I agree with that one, too.
Fred Taylor, he's from here, so we got to shout him out.
He's a fringe guy, yeah.
You know, also shout out to Vince Wilfork, who's from Santa Lucius. Reggie Wayne's from, I believe, this area, too. Yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't gotten in yet, Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, but big names this year. There's, again, 26 semifinalists that they just announced the other day. I could probably pick 20 out of those that I think deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. So we're going to see how that happens. Let's go over the NFL injury report for this week while we're still talking about the NFL. J.J. McCarthy, he's in concussion protocol, expected to miss Week 13. I think that's the best thing that could happen.
At this point, the rest of the year, he stinks.
Yeah, that's the best thing that could happen to them and to his receivers who just are not getting the ball.
Right.
Baker Mayfield sustained an AC joint sprain. He considered day-to-day right now. He wants to play, but I don't think they're going to let him.
He's a gamer. But here's the thing, though. They need him to win. Look, they got help for San Francisco last week. Because if Carolina won the game on Monday night, Carolina's in first place in the division.
Yeah.
So now, situation now where you don't have the gap anymore to take games off. So they need him ASAP.
Yep. Joe Burrow has been practicing fully with that toe injury and is expected to start on Thursday night. So that's huge.
That's a huge. And here's the thing. I'm saying to myself, why are you playing Burrow? But I'm realizing if you win this game against Baltimore, all of a sudden you're back in the race in the division.
Yeah, and Jamar Chase is probably chomping at the bit, being off last week for the spitting incident.
No doubt about that.
I think that'll be huge. Aaron Rodgers, he sat out Week 12. He's expected to return. I don't know if they want him to, but he's expected
No, you want him to because
it
Mason Rudolph stinks. Sorry.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud remains in the concussion protocol. He's
just 3 weeks now.
Yeah, it's been a while. Alvin Kamara, Kamara, that is, exited Week 12. They're talking about an MCL sprain, likely to miss several weeks. T. Higgins
missed a year.
Already out with a concussion, so that's one of Joe Burrow's guys, obviously. Josh Jacobs is limited. They think he's going to play.
But huge, though, because they play on Thursday.
They're going to announce today whether he's going to play or not. Rashee Rice, hamstring issue right now. Drake London is expected to miss this week for the Falcons. And Scary Terry is going to participate in walkthroughs. He's nearing a return right now from his quad injury.
What's the point?
But
they stink anyway.
That's the injury update for the NFL this week. Now let's talk about Feast and Football. That's one of the things we haven't talked about yet, and that's one of the hottest things in all of Palm Beach County. Every football Sunday, and that's all the way up until January 4th. It's a $25 all-you-can-eat buffet. The best part, nobody else is doing this. I guarantee you no other sports bar or restaurant in South Florida and maybe the country is doing what we're doing. Because if you come in with your Hard Rock Bet app, who's our marketing partner, and you bet $25 or more placed day of at PBKC with that Hard Rock Bet app, you're going to get that buffet for free. So what you could essentially do all football season long, come in, bet $25 or more while you're here on that app, and get a free buffet each and every week. Watch
deal.
all the games. I don't know how you beat that deal.
It's a fantastic deal.
I have no idea how you beat that deal, and it's starting to fill up in the paddock. So if you want more information, you can go to our website, pbkennelclub.com, or call Paul at 683-2222, extension 199. Looking at our CBS Sports Pick'em contest this week.
How did I do this week? I didn't even check.
You shouldn't have checked. You weren't
that
good at
bad?
all. Yeah. We had Rami Garcia is the winner this week. He did very well this week, had 10 wins on the week. Rob Summer, who is a friend of the show, he's family on this show. That's the Robster, one of my all-time favorite people just in general in the world. I love that guy, and he tied for first place.
Blazing
No,
much,
he's
man?
the cool. If you've never met the Robster,
No.
you got to meet this
I gotta
guy.
meet him. I gotta
He's
meet
just the happiest guy. You just root for him.
Which
He's just
which
one of those
employee
guys.
did the best here?
Well, Steve Lester's a former, but got Patrick Sullivan, Sully.
Sully again?
Yeah, Sully got a little braggadocious in there because he was talking to me on Monday about how he was at the top of the list. Then he missed the game on Monday night, and so it shot him down to third. So
Yeah.
shout-outs to Sully, who's
Noah?
Noah's in there somewhere. I don't know. Noah's hard to see. Yeah, there he is. He's been hiding out for a while, so he's hard to find right now. Tim Wright's in there, too, so congrats to everybody. But congrats to Rami Garcia, who's now going to win that
I'm on the
free
bottom.
buffet.
I'm on 25th.
Yeah, you shouldn't have picked this week, honestly.
No, I had a bad week. In fact, you guys watching on social media, I do my best bets, my 5 games a week. I've never gone 0-5 until this week. So, bad week for me.
Well, then I think we're going to take away that title of Genius Champion Junior.
No, you're not going to do that. Josh Allen. No, you're not going to do that. Josh Allen mentioned him.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about fantasy a little bit later, but let's go over each and every game for Week 13.
There we
and
go.
we're not going to spend too much time on this because obviously it's just me and you talking about it. But these Thursday games, I cannot remember
So
a
psyched up,
Thanksgiving going into Thursday thinking, wow, these are all possible games that have playoff implications. We start out tomorrow with the 1 o'clock game. That's Green Bay at Detroit. Detroit is favored at home by 2.5.
Kind of feels like the loser's game is like going home, right? That's what it feels like, honestly, with that playoff picture looking at it is. Again, like Pat said, Detroit needs this game. And I remember 2 years ago, same situation. Green Bay was, I think, down in the standings, and this was the game that turned Jordan Love's career around. And on Thanksgiving, too, also, no doubt, in Detroit. But this time around, I'm going to put some faith in Detroit this week because I think they hear all the noise. They're home. They didn't have to travel because they played at home this week as the Giants. So I'm going to take Detroit here in a very competitive game because I don't trust Green Bay either.
Yeah.
So give me Detroit.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very competitive game, but I also am going to pick Detroit at home. Like you said, they've been at home now for a couple of weeks. There's no place like home, and I think they're going to win tomorrow at the 1 o'clock game. Then we move on to the late afternoon game, another good one, Kansas City at Dallas. Kansas City goes in to Dallas favored by 3 points.
You know what I